Well, it's the 2nd of December. It's actually weather that's quite befitting winter. It's about 3 or 4 degrees. Beautiful blue sky, wonderful visibility, remnants of a frost on the ground, and I am therefore heading out for my first wild camp of the season. As you can see from the absence of big hills and the conspicuous wind farms, factories, buildings, blocks of flats, I'm not where I would normally go wild camping. I'm not up in the Highlands or the Cairngorms or places like that. I'm in fact in Fife. I'm on the fringes of Glenrothes, just on the southern edge of the Lomond Hills, and I'm doing something I've not really done before. I am camping at home, pretty much. I stay in the Lomond Hills, so I thought rather than driving a couple of hours up north, which was tempting, I wanted to go, quite fancy going to the Cairngorms because it has snowed a little bit, so it would have been nice to be up in the snow, but petrol's so expensive now, and so I do find that I'm thinking of trying to find cheaper options close to home. And what could be better than walking out your front door and going camping? You can actually see where we're going as well. Bishop Hill is this long ridge on the horizon. It looks like maybe it sort of slopes away from us going in that direction, but in fact it ends in quite a big escarpment which is to quite, it's not sheer, it's not like cliffs, but it's not far off. It's very, very steep, and that's the big escarpment that overlooks Loch Leven. As you can see, there's lots of farmland. That's essentially what I'm walking through on the way up to Bishop Hill, which is right up there. So it's a regional park, the Lomond Hills, and generally in the regional parks you will find a mixture of farmland, upland pasture, open grassland, heather moorland. You generally find that mix in all the regional parks, but they are, like everywhere else in Scotland, managed places. But they do have this quite natural look to them. I mean, that looks nice, it looks natural, it looks not like the middle of nowhere, but it looks a lot more rural than this actually is. We're only a couple of miles from Leslie, which is right on the edge of Glenrothes behind me. So we are very much in the central belt still. And yet, despite that proximity to urban areas, they can be surprisingly wild. I mean, these are still places where you'll see ospreys, roe deer, all manner of wildlife. It's a refuge, I guess, so they can surprise you. Surprisingly wild places. Into the final pull now up to the top ridge of Bishop Hill, just through this plantation. But there are people who say that these forests have got a big black cat prowling around. Who doesn't have a big black cat? Oh, it's just a final stretch up onto the ridge. The summit proper of Bishop Hill is actually that one over there in the middle, on top of the high moorland. We're just heading up to get right onto the escarpment, and then I'll go along the edge of the escarpment along the way. So this, or something like this, will be my view this evening and tonight and for the overnight and in tomorrow morning. Loch Leven. So it mightn't be the middle of nowhere, mightn't be the Cairngorms or the remote highlands, but you can't really beat this view in these parts. That is stupendous on a clear day like today. Well, the only question now is where to pitch. Wondering what's with all the gliders. There's the National Gliding Centre at Port Moke, and because of all the updraft along the escarpment, it's perfect for gliders. And you can sit up here on Bishop Hill and watch them going backwards and forwards right below you, almost utterly silent. Sun's almost down, so what I thought I'd do, usually I like to camp somewhere where I can get the sunset and the sunrise pretty much from where I've pitched, and I can do that from the top of Bishop Hill here. It would have been nice to have a panoramic view of the loch, but it's a bit blowy over there, so I'm going to opt for pitching here, which means that when the sun rises in the morning, which we'll do way out there at the east end of Fife, I'll get the sunrise. I'll be perfect with my door open for the sunrise, so that's fine. So, and it's nice and flat here too, and it's protected from the wind. Right, let's pitch. Right, tent's all up, as you can see. Nice new tent that I haven't tried before. It's a one-man tent. It's a tent that I had to order from the US because you can't get them here. They don't come sealed. The seams have silicone put on them to seal them on tents, and these ones don't come with it pre-sealed, so you have to do it yourself. So it took me months to get around to actually doing it. I did it over the summer. Or was it late autumn? I can't remember. Finally did it, but I haven't actually used it until now, even though I've had the tent for nearly a year. So here it is actually being used. And East Lomond over here, Ballow Reservoir over there, Fife goes out that way, West Lomond's there, the moon is up there, and now that I'm pitched, and now the sun's gone down, it is actually, oh, it's perishing cold. So I've got a nice down jacket on, and I thought I'd go and back up to the top here and just see if the sunset is doing anything. It's quite lovely up here. There's a thin band of orange on the horizon there. It's giving a bit of colour. But I suppose what we're lacking today are clouds up there. You really need a big, really high level clouds up here to catch the light later, or to catch the light at all. And that's what usually gives these stunning sunsets, when you have actually clouds that the sun can cast its light onto and can turn orange and purple and red and all these different colours. But we don't have that because we've got such a beautiful clear day, blue skies, which is wonderful, doesn't make for great sunsets. Way out over there, those lights, that's Glen Rothes over there. It's funny that just when I was, over the past hour, there's been quite a few people actually sort of milling about up here. Very popular with people running up from down there. People run up the zigzag paths to come up onto this escarpment. Very popular with runners, good with dog walkers, hikers, and of course the gliders, which they've all gone now. So all of a sudden it feels very quiet, and I've got all the place to myself again. It felt very busy just a very short time ago, but now it's quite amazing this time of year because the light does go so quickly, and it gets cold very quickly as soon as the sun goes down, and people do flee off the hills. All of a sudden, if you're the one that's left up here, you do have it to yourself, and it really does feel like that now. And even though I am in the central belt and I can see lights of towns and villages everywhere, it does feel like a proper overnight trip to the hills. Very, very nice. Well, that's the rice just gone on. It's about 6:30, I think. I've spent probably the best part of 90 minutes faffing about with the camera. It's not very good for taking photos of starry skies because there's quite a really not a full moon, but it's very bright, so it's not great for that. But I have been playing about with my torch and the tent and long exposures on my camera, and I've been trying to spell out. Well, I wasn't trying to spell anything. To start off with, I thought I'd just make funny lines with the torchlight, but then I found out I tried spelling my name, Ben, and I got better at it. And then I started thinking, well, I could do something even more better than that. So I tried writing Ben Environment, which is a huge thing to write. And I got an amazing photo. I don't think anyone ever believed me that I actually did it. I had to sort of spell each letter and then hide the torch so you couldn't see so there was no join between each letter, so every letter wasn't joined up, if that makes sense. But anyway, no one will believe actually. Everyone will think it's Photoshop because it's it's probably one of the best photos I've ever taken. Yeah, anyway, dinner this evening is something a bit more glamorous than I would usually have. It's West Highland wild venison stew. Looking forward to this. Usually I have dehydrated food or something like that, so this is a bit of luxury. It's actually pretty nice anyway, but I tend to find that anything tastes good when you're on the hill, whether it's macaroni cheese or stale tea out of a flask. Always tastes great at the end of the day, as long as it's hot. I've got the torch on at the moment, but I don't really need it because I can see just with the moonlight, the moon is that bright, but I can't film. It's not bright enough to film, but it's bright enough to eat by. Oh, a warm meal. Stumbled upon a book that I've had buried away for ages and I forgot I had, Callum's Road, so I thought I might as well bring that. I don't usually bring books with me, but why not? I usually just lie and doze and enjoy tent time when time just seems to sort of slow down or speed up, or I'm not really sure what it does. Tent time. I suppose it's quite an unusual thing to do, isn't it, camping in winter? Choosing to actually stay out in the same way that everyone fled off the hill. A couple of hours ago as the sun was going down, you just feel the place empty. It just feels like you shouldn't be here, I suppose, in a way. There's part of it that feels counterintuitive, but there's part of it that's wonderful as well. I was pondering why people go camping in the first place, yet alone why they go camping in winter. I tend to be quite detached these days from where we've come from, I suppose. It's been a long, long time since we all lived outside, but that is where we come from. We are animals, and we're supposed to be in tune with the environment and the weather and the climate and seasons and all that kind of thing, and all these things we tend to feel detached from now because we just run around in our centrally heated homes and set in our air-conditioned cars and our heated cars, offices, homes. It's all very, very comfortable. It's interesting when you come up a hill in winter like this and you stay up late and you're camping overnight. It's something you don't really feel at any other time, is that rapid cooling off when the sun goes down. I think everyone knows it gets colder when the sun goes down, and people sitting out in the summer in beer gardens, as soon as the sun goes, people think, oh, it's gone a bit chilly. But in winter, I mean, you really, really feel it, and it's something that I think generally we've forgotten just how much of a difference it makes. We're just so out of touch with everything, really. And so coming up a hill like this, it doesn't have to be winter, but just coming up a hill and camping, it's just, I suppose it's you trying to be self-reliant, trying to exist in a place that you probably shouldn't be in, and feeling really satisfied with that. And it is a challenge. You get better at it as time goes on, but it is a challenge, and it can be quite intimidating to some people, I suppose, and it certainly isn't for everybody, but it can be very, very rewarding. And certainly tomorrow morning, assuming I don't get engulfed in fog or something, it'll just, you can't beat being up here in winter. Scotland is one of the most beautiful countries in the world anyway, but in winter, the light we get, the quality of light, the sunrise and the sunset, seen at altitude, are just so special. So, I mean, that's the attraction of camping in winter. Is, I mean, the hills are quieter, that much is certain, but also there is this quality of light you get, and the crispness to everything, which is out of this world. And to be up in snow, camping in snow, and seeing all the hills turning pink. The very ground you stand on turns pink as the sun rises and the sun sets, and it catches, when it rises in the morning, it catches all the mountains that are snow-capped one by one, and everything's just ablaze. It's incredible, really, really special. And I always value these moments. I always set my alarm for it, always get up early in the morning, make sure I'm up to see the sun just creeping over the horizon, which is one of the attractions of winter anyway. Even if you're just sort of down in the town, or wherever you might happen to be. I know people don't like shorter days in winter, but it does mean that you get to see the sunrise and the sunset within your working day. I think that's a blessing myself. I know some people think that the days are too short and it's too dark, but yeah, they are short days, and this evening has been a shock to me just how quickly it went dark. But that's all the more reason to get out to places like this when you do get sunshine like this, because we all need our vitamin D, we all need our dose of sunlight. And so in winter you need to sort of actively, proactively work harder to get it. I love it, camping in winter. Well, it's about 10:30. Don't really know where the time's gone. I've just sort of been dozing, really. I've got the door open. The joy, of course, being that in winter there's no, like I say, there's no midges, so you can actually have the door open in winter and just, because it's going to be cold anyway, whether you've got the door open or not. There's barely any difference if you had the door closed. But it does mean you can just sort of lie here and just look up. Just been watching stars, some shooting stars, just watching some satellites go over. Beautiful, beautiful evening. It's really, really still and calm. Everything's sparkling. It must be sort of 0 degrees or just under -1 or something like that. But that's pretty much all I've been doing, just sitting and dozing and looking out. You can just make out there's the lights in the distance. I think is Cooper actually over there. One of the brightest stars you can see as well. But yeah, that's essentially looking east across Fife. But it is now, I think, time for bed. Good night. Good morning. It's 7:45 and it's getting quite light already, even though the sun's not going to be up for quite a while yet. I think I dozed off about 10:30 in the end. Woke up again at 2:30, so I had got a good 4 hours. Got up for a wee, went back to sleep, woke up again at 5:30. Went outside, and the stars were actually better because the moon had gone down by that time, so there was no more bright moon. So I got some really, really good starry photos, and it was starting to get a bit foggy. The wind was picking up and there was quite a bit of fog, so I haven't had a look outside yet, so I'm expecting to be engulfed in fog this morning, but we'll see what it's like. Hello world, are we going to have a view or not? Not. Well, another 50 metres higher and probably above it, but yeah, you can see there is a fair bit of fog out here. Hopefully it will clear. I can see hints of a blue sky up above, so it's not very thick. You can't have everything. Anyway, it's time for breakfast, I think. Well, it's trying to clear. It's trying its best. There's East Lomond popping up over there through the fog. It looks like it might clear, given a little bit of sun once that comes up. And just as quickly as it came, it's gone. I can be patient. Oh, it's still teasing. Porridge is on, porridge is doing. Not in any rush to get back. It will only take me won't even take me a couple of hours to get home, so I'm not in any rush. Hopefully I can stay up here long enough that the sun will come out. There's a lot of condensation on the tent too with all the fog around, so hopefully that might come out and give it a bit of a dry. It's quite amazing. I was saying last night about tent time. Been in this tent now. I pitched up about 5 o'clock last night. Actually no, it was earlier than that. It's about 3:30 and I was in the tent by about 5. So I've been in this tent for 14 hours, give or take. I don't know where the time goes. I mean, I haven't slept for 14 hours. I did for a lot of the night just sleep with my head sticking out of the door, just staring upwards, just watching stars. Beautiful, beautiful stars. But you do seem to lose all sense of time, and it's not the same as being bored. It's not like if you're sat at home and you're not sure what you want, you haven't really got anything to do, and it feels like time's dragging, or you're waiting for something and time's dragging. It doesn't get passed slowly. It just passes in a different way. It's sort of I don't know. I mean, other people who go camping probably, I dare say, experience the same sort of thing. It's just this sort of dozing and slumbering, and it's really pleasant as long as you're warm. Which I was to start off with, but after I got up about 5:30 to go and take photos, I cooled down quite a bit because it was getting a bit damp by then. So I haven't really warmed up again this morning, but I'm getting better now. I've had a hot drink and I've got the porridge on. But yeah, really, really pleasant. Just a shame it's still foggy, though. It's trying. It's trying. There's East Lomond popping up again there. Come on. Well, it's quite funny because usually I'm used to the sun coming up way over there by Largo Law, which is just sticking up here down the east end of Fife, but it's not. It's almost winter's shortest day, and of course the sun's coming up over there. I was expecting it to come up over there. Yeah, so there it is. The sun's coming up, about to get a bit of warmth. That's what I was saying about being up high, being at altitude in winter, when you've got this light, this quality of light, this sort of fogginess clearing with a low sun. Oh, you can't beat it. Just fog down there. Sea of fog. All that white. Hopefully it'll clear, we'll get a better view. Oh, it's beautiful. It's taking a while to clear, I suppose, and because the sun doesn't have much heat this time of year, fog can linger quite a long time, so it's coming and going. Anyway, that was a real treat, and that's why it's always worth camping up high in winter to get this amazing light and fog, mist. It's wonderful. Anyway, I think it's time to pack up and head home. All packed up, time to go.